There you go. Perfect. All right, so this is Compin Atlanta, episode 3. What we're going to be doing is going over some properties, how to comp in Atlanta. It's one of the main basic things that we have. And in addition to that, I'm going to be showcasing a new tool that I utilize when I'm comping in Atlanta. When you comp in anywhere, honestly. But I find that it works very, very well for comping in Atlanta as well. So we'll definitely get that started. If you have a lead or a property you're looking at and you want to be able to get some help on it, you want to get it comped, go ahead and raise your hand. And what we'll do is when we go by, we'll make sure to get your property and get it comped for you. So that's all taken care of. And let's see here, share my screen. All right. So first things first, I want to share with you guys. Let me share my screen. There you go. All right, so here is all of our contacts that we have. We just go direct.me/charger. We'll give you everything that we have. One of the things is I want to go over like how you'll always find a link here for Compin Atlanta. If you come here, you just click on it and go to live and show you. So you come here and click on this and it'll take you to how to be able to launch in. I'll close that so I don't mess up the current Zoom. This is if you want to book some time with me. That's free. Do that for like 15 minutes for each person. This is where we have a lot of Atlanta joint venture events and stuff. And if you want to send me a deal that is in my buying space, I will buy. Now, if you scroll down here, you see a bunch of stuff too. You see a Atlanta joint venture group. Just some of my information on how to get in contact with me on social. Here you see a free wholesale agreement from my boy, Pace Morby. It's super important to have this agreement, especially if you are wholesaling and you may be in a situation where you will need transactional funding. So let's talk about that for a second. So if you guys have noticed, there's been a few things that's been going around where people are being forced to have to be able to provide that they can not only have proof of funds, that they have the money to buy the property, but they're also being forced to actually close on the properties themselves because of the new laws and things like that that's taking place. Now, this is really, really detrimental to a lot of people because they're like, I don't got the money to either put down for EMD, let alone trying to close on the deal myself, right? So how do you get about doing that? Well, there's a bunch of different companies. There's a company I use called Capital Investment Pod. That's primarily what they do. They've lent money to me using for EMDs. They do transactional funding. You also have private money lenders that you can use if you want to take down a property yourself and start to do the rehab. So there's always scenarios like that. But no matter which one of those that you're going to do, you need the right agreement. The worst thing that you can do, it's not impossible, but the worst thing that you can do is have your seller sign your contract and then have to come back and say, hey, actually, I need you to sign this contract because the first contract they signed does not work for your lender, for the person that's going to lend you money to either put down the EMD, put down transactional funding for you to double close on the deal, or to be able to borrow money to take care of the property. So you want to make sure you get the right contract. Here it is for free. If you have any issues with that, definitely let me know. Here's another important part right here, how to take the best pictures for your wholesale deals. I've been getting a lot of people send me deals, and a few of them will send me deals and they'll send me 6 pictures. Unless the property is 900 square feet, you cannot send 6 pictures to your buyer expecting them to be able to make a decision that's going to be in the best interest for you. All right. If I'm unsure about a property that I'm going to buy, I will still put my offer. I will still buy the property, but my price is going to be very, very low because I don't know for sure what I'm getting into. Does that make sense for everybody? Like if you don't give your buyer the right pieces of information, they're gonna just assume the worst every single time. So the way to be able to do that is by making sure that you have the right pictures of exactly what's needed. Now, there's a few things that you, for a fact, need, and I'm gonna go over it really, really quick because this is all important when it comes to comping. Some of the things that you know you're gonna need is a picture of the front of the house. You need a picture of the mailbox with the house in the background, and you need a picture of the back of the house. All right. So, in fact, here, let's just click on this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, so here you go. So this is the picture hit list sheet. Front angle, second, third angles of the front, interior space. You have the kitchen. Now you see here it says kitchen 1, 2, and 3 full view. What does that mean is, and what we'll probably do is I'll probably shoot a video of the next time we're going to one of our properties and we're taking pictures. I'll probably do another video showcasing exactly what I'm talking about so you can see what I mean. But when you see anytime it says front, second, third, you're still in the room or you're still looking at the same thing, you're just taking different angles. So if imagine you walk into your kitchen in your home, I want you to stand at one angle, one corner, and take a picture facing this way, right? Always go wide on your camera. So if I was to show, and you guys are probably not gonna be able to see it, but just for the sake of argument here, everybody's camera, you can do 0.5, whether you have an iPhone or Android. So you get the long, wide view. That's what you want when you're taking pictures. Anything else is just not gonna be good enough to be able to make the right decisions. Your buyers will, but if you gave them the right pictures, the right viewpoint, they'll be more comfortable spending more money, which is what you want as a wholesaler, right? So you stand in one corner, take an angle shot, get the whole view. Then you go to the adjacent corner, get the angle shot, same thing. Then you go to one more corner and you do the same thing. That's 3 corners of one room. You do not need to do 4 corners because when you really think about it, if I got 3 corner shots of one room, I can actually see the other side of the corner, the 4th corner that you're not taking the picture from. All right, you got hallway pictures, bedroom, bathroom. These are just standard. Now, there's a few things you guys have to make sure you get. And I'm gonna tell you right now. If there is an AC unit, you want to take a picture of that. All right. If there is a little trick shot I learned was to get 3 walls in the shot. Yep, very good, very good. Thanks, Sherry. So if you're taking a picture and you get 3 walls in the shot, it's gonna be a perfect picture. You want to take a picture of the AC unit. You want to take a picture of the water heater or the HVAC essentially. So the HVAC, water heater. You want to take a picture of the electrical panel. All right. You want to take a picture of the bathroom and kitchen. And you want to take a picture of this is going to be kind of hard, but do your best to try to take a picture of the roof. Now, I'm not saying climb on anybody's house, okay? What I'm saying is take a picture outside the house and you can zoom in at that point to be able to look at the roof. Another thing you could do is you can go to Google and just copy and paste that zoomed down picture that they have of the property. Why is this important? Well, if I'm buying a house and I can look from the pictures if the roof may need to be changed or maybe it's just in pretty good shape, then it helps me know that I'm not going to have to spend an extra 10, 15,000 on this roof. All right. So that is super important. You want to make sure you here, right here, roof close-ups. You want to make sure you get that. Those 5 things are the most important things, because those 5 is what leads to how much money we end up having to spend in a property. So the more the more information you're able to get from that, the better that's going to be for your buyer. At the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to make sure you have your buyer being able to get all the details that they need so that they can make a decision without even having to be there. All right. And now we're going to go down to this right here. You see, if anybody is interested in, here's some of the contracts. It's a text blasting tool. If you're interested in anything metaverse, this is somewhere you want to go. That's a whole different conversation, but it's a fun one, and there's definitely money being made there. Something I'm heavily into. And then here we have free ARV comp deal analyzer. So this is where you guys can go to be able to take a look at what we're going to be going over today. So we're going to use this tool. It's called Backflip. It's app.dobackflip.com. You can type this in. It's a really good app. You can use it on the go. I love using it. And it's free. So you can sign in. If you click on that link, sign in, and then I think you can invite friends and you'll earn some money as well. But this is the app that you use. This is what I was talking about when I was on one of the calls the other day, where if I'm talking to a seller, I'm at the property. One of the things that you guys got to do is when you get opportunities to talk to a seller, you want to be able to not have anything that's causing the deal to slow down. You don't want any stagnant time frames. What I mean by that is don't go to the property, take pictures, and then leave the property and then say, okay, we'll call you to make you an offer. Before you go to a property, you should already have in mind what a possible offer could be. All right. When you get to the property and you now take a look at the property and you get the pictures, now you have all the details you need, and those pictures or what you saw can help you in what you were able to purchase. I mean, the offer you're going to make to be able to purchase that property. All right. Now, this is an app you can use, especially if you don't have like MLS access, or if you're in a place that, maybe you don't have really good signal, so you can't get to your normal things that you would use, like PropStream or Privy or something like that. This is what I use. You can just pull it up on your phone, and you take in the address, and you could be able to set up a comp. So I know we got some hands up already for particular properties. So we're going to get in a second. I'm just going to grab a property that I just got sent right off my email, and we'll use that real quick. So here's a property. Typing in the chat. So we got $205 3rd Avenue, Southeast. Atlanta. All right, here we go. Now, a kicker about this app is set up to give you the best data, because they want to be able to pitch you on essentially lending you money, right? So not only can you look up the comps, but you can actually analyze it with the after repair value, like as far as what you need to put into repair. So we'll go over that in a second. But here's the property here, 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Now, typically what I like to do is I always like to fact check. Zillow is pretty good at this, where you can just click in and kind of see if the information is correct. It's very rare Zillow is wrong when it comes to that. Okay, so this is 3-bedroom, 1-bath, square footage just about 1,000, and the year built is 1996. All right, so here we are, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1996. All right, perfect. Now, if something was wrong here, there is an option where you can click to be able to change the details right there. All right, here's a little cute little map. But here's if you want to, you can click here and change how many beds and bathrooms is in it. All right. Now let's go to show me an ARV. So here, the system itself is analyzing what they think the ARV is. Now, I would look at this, but I would not let this be my end all be all, because sometimes technology can be wrong, right? So what I would do is, first and foremost, my property is right here. And as you can see, there's things that they have here that may not be a comp for my property. So let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's see exactly where does my property sit. Is it on this side of the street or this side of the street? Because whatever side it is, the opposite side cannot be my comp. Because rule number one, we don't comp using properties that crosses major highways or crossroads, right? Even train tracks, at times you don't use train tracks. So here, my property is here. So anything upward I can use. All of these I cannot use. So we'll keep that in mind when we're looking at our comps. So actually, let me go back real quick. Let's take it one step back. All right. So here we have, you see here the search radius? How many miles did you guys see that says? 5 miles. So you would have got this deal, you would have been sending it out. ARV is 532,000. And you would have been the laughing stock of all investors that you send this out to. So we got to change this, right? We want to stay, how close do you want to stay when it comes to doing comps? Is it 2 miles? Is it? Go ahead, JD. You look like you got the answer. What is it?
Half mile, then kind of go up in half mile increments from there. You got to know.
Perfect. Yep. So we'll do it down to a mile. That's the max that we can go. And all of a sudden, our ARV changed. What a coincidence. It went down 200 something thousand. So now we're looking at 372. But you still want to make sure you pay attention. So this is 800 square feet bigger than our property, and it has 2.5 bathrooms. So I'm going to say this is not a comp. This is 3.2, 650. This could possibly be a comp. Let's leave it in there for now. We'll see if it still reigns a true test of time. This is not going to be a comp because if you guys remember looking at this property, see the outside of it? Now look at the outside of this property. This does not match. So this is not a comp. So we take this out. This is a 2-story, different style of home. So it would not be a comp. This here is 3.2. We don't know what the house looks like. But you see, it wasn't even selected. It says not selected. So they already took this out. Not selected, not selected. All right. So the ARV they're looking at is 373. All right. Now here's one of the best things about this app. So if we're going to go with this ARV, here's where I look at the property and I could just do a quick analysis. How much rehab costs need to be applied here? I'm going to say that this property is probably more so on the heavier side, right? Not all the way heavy. I'll probably say maybe like right here. But let's take a look at these pictures again. And you guys tell me in the chat, what do you think? What do we think? Is it heavy, light? Hold on, let's make sure we're looking at the right property. Yeah. What do you guys think? Is this heavy, light, medium? Getting light to medium. Yeah, I think so too. I think this is more so light to medium. So let's bring this back down to the other side. Now, here's the thing. If we're investors, is it better for us to, new kitchen for sure. Is it better for us to kind of hedge our bets? Like if we're gonna do a rehab, do we think it's actually gonna be 20,000 if we say it's gonna be 20,000, or is it smarter for us to kind of hedge that? Hey, maybe it might come up to 25, maybe 30,000. So in that scenario, we'll keep this right here to, let's say, right under the medium, right? And now you have they're giving you to analyze with leverage, whatever your interest rate might be, and this is going to be different for each cash buyer, so you don't really need to worry about that. But what I would do is I would ask my cash buyer, how do they spend their money? Like if they're getting private money or something like that, based off of just these numbers here, you see the rate of return, not that sexy, right? But now I want you to keep something in mind. This is just based off of these lending costs. Your cash buyer may have a whole different set of rules when it comes to where they lend and how much they're being lent. Majority of the time, they may also even have their own money. So none of this would apply, right? So let's say they had their own money, they're not getting any financing. They still have to pay the sales cost. Let's see what else. No interest. And they're not going to get a loan on it. Let's say they're going to do cash. All right. So if they do it like that, according to this here, this is still not a good deal at this price point. So if you're a wholesaler, you would know you need to be able to get this property much lower. Right? Now, here's something. Let's take this deal and let's look it up in Zillow. And let's see what Zillow was going to give us. So far, do we have any questions on that particular one? Let's put the address in. Check that.
I was wondering how many comps after you took out the ones that didn't match, how many you were left with?
No, it's a good question. Let's see. Let's just go back.
Or which ones?
So we had this one here, 2305. And then we had, that was it. It was just a one comp using this tool. So let's go to Zillow, see what Zillow gives us. All right, so wait, let's go to home type, deselect all, we only want houses. I'll come here, we want square footage, we'll go up to 1250. Now, our property, guys, do you guys remember how many square foot was? So it's 1040. So let's see. All right, and then year built was 1996. So let's go up to 1999. Let me see what we got. All right, so now where's our properties? Third, 205, third. Let's see, what address is this right here? Here's a 3-1 that sold for 368. Oh no, that's our property. Okay. So here's our property right there. It's 368. I need to zoom in. All right, so this one next door, it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Now, here's something I did not look to do, and we should make sure we do it. Here, last sold in last, you want to make sure that comes to 6 months. Super, super important. All right, so we're not getting any matches. So whenever we don't get any matches, I start eliminating some of the things that made the filter tight. So let's take down the year. And wait, what? Days on Zillow too. No, I don't need that. There we go. And then let's see. Let's do it here. And then what we'll do is we'll just change the bedrooms to 3 bedrooms. All right, so Zillow is giving us more of what Backflip was giving us. There's not a lot of comps for a 3-1, right? You guys see how that is? Let's zoom out. So here's one that sold for 610, 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Here's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Let's see what else is this. That's Carter. Where's Carter at? All right, here we go. So Carter's over here. Here's that property. So it's still a good comp for us because we're not crossing a major street. But let's pay attention and see because Cottage Grove is right there. So let's zoom out a little bit more. Get a bigger picture. All right, so Cottage Grove Ave is not considered a main street because it gets chopped off right here. Right, and it goes from here to here. So we could use this as a comp, this 3-1. Anything down here we would not be able to use because it crosses that major street. So let's go to back to this 3-1 real quick. Let's take a look at something. All right, so this doesn't have any pictures. If you guys remember last week when we were doing the Compin Atlanta, we had Abraham on there. He says typically he'll get the information from Zillow, and sometimes he'll go on to Redfin to be able to get the pictures. They'll have it on there sometimes. Speaking of that, he just texted me. That's funny. But let's leave this alone. I want to point something out. Look at this one right here. So 3-2, 1,700 square feet. That sold for 711. Now it's not a comp, but it does show you the possibility in this neighborhood. Does that make sense? So essentially, what are we seeing so far? We're seeing the 3-1s are selling for 300 price point. Here's a 3-1 right here. Anything above a 3-1, so 3-2 and up, depending on what else you got going on in it, is selling for 600-700. Here's a 3.5, 2,000 square feet, right? Let's scroll down. Let's see. Again, 3-3. Here's a 3-1, sold for 320. So if we were to get an assessment on here, I would say that as is this property, like this looks like an as is property right here. right? And that's sold for 320. Right, the property doesn't look like it's in like fixed up shape or anything like that. So this is probably sold as is. Now, granted, our property is in a little bit, not a little bit, but way better shape, right? So I think it could get more than 320 for it, but it's definitely not going to be anywhere in that 500-600 range, right? So if I had to figure out as is what this comp would be, I would probably say it's in the maybe high threes. We talking maybe 375, something like that. Is that a fair assessment? Does that make sense to everybody? Now, if they were willing to put some more into the property, they could probably get more. Now, here's something that's interesting. Here's a 3-3, 1,200 square feet that only sold for 320. So let's see if this has any pictures or anything like that in it. It does. Awesome. All right. So let's take a look at this. Let's try to figure out, why did this property sell for 320? So offhand, this doesn't look like it was done, right? It looked like they just painted this right here. Yeah, so this is just, they did a fresh coat of paint. Does this look like an updated kitchen?
Yeah.
So how would I know if this was an updated kitchen? Well, if you look at the homes that are being built nowadays, right, everything's open floor plan. This is definitely cut off, right? Then also you got this fridge that's damn near sticking, like you can almost bump the fridge if you're walking to the kitchen, right? So this is it's nice, but it's an older style. So it's safe to say that the kitchen was not remodeled. They cleaned up well. Floors look beautiful, polished. Let's see what the bathrooms are hitting for. All right, does this look like a new bathroom? No, right? So now when we start thinking to ourselves, well, damn, why did this 3-bedroom, 3-bath sell for 320? It makes sense. They didn't do it. They swept, polished the floors, and they put some paint on this bad boy, and they said, go out there, be great. That's what they did to this property, right? So now, this is a really, really good exercise because you guys get to see, like, okay, I get it now, right? Like when you're looking at your property, you're not quick to jump at whatever price your seller is telling you. Like, oh, look, my property is better than that property down the street. That property got 3-bedroom, 3-bath, and it sold for 320. I always ask my sellers this: did you see that property? Have you been inside? Did you see the pictures? Because a lot of times, all they do is look at the address to see if it's close. They look at how many beds and bathroom it is, and they look at what it's sold for. They could care less what the inside looked like. If it was literally falling apart on the inside, doesn't matter to them. Because what they're trying to do is try to make sure they can get the right price that they're looking for, which is typically going to be the highest, which is great if your property is worth it. But if I'm buying your property as is, like this property right here, whoever brought it did a good job. I would have never paid anything. I wouldn't pay $1 more for this property. All right, so that makes sense. We got more people joining the chat. If you are joining, we are streaming from different platforms now. So if you are joining and you have a question, raise your hand so I can be able to see it, or if you, or you can just like unmute yourself. But if you are looking to get your property comped, then go ahead and raise your hand and we'll get started with that. In fact, we'll take our first person. Miss Sherry, what's up? How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for joining today. Go ahead and put your address in the chat. Rob, I see you. I grab yours next and we will get popping. So while you're doing this, tell me a little bit more about the details of the property. I know this property because we kind of talked a little bit about it beforehand, but for everybody else that's joining us, give us some insight on the property.
This property was in lead that came from an agent. I was doing some agent outreach, and this was a follow-up call, and he emailed it to me, and I got on the line. I was excited and started, asking them questions about why the seller wanted to sell the property and the time frame, and he didn't have all that information for me. So I told them, like, yeah, you need to give me your contact information for your seller. And he said, "You want me to give you my contact information for my seller?" I was like, "Heck yeah, I need to find out what's going on." I'm just, overstepping boundaries, asking the agent for his seller's contact information. He ended the call quickly and he said, "I'll get back to you." So as soon as I hung up the phone, I was like, okay, I know I shouldn't have asked him for his contact information for his seller. So I texted him shortly after and I said, "Hey, you know what? I was looking at the wrong property. Let me know, if you guys are open to me coming to see the property, or let me know what he wants, and so I can make an offer." And he was, responsive to that. But so that's how I got this property. I almost messed it up and didn't get it. Had to clean it up a little
Nice.
bit. But,
listen, you know how many times I use that line, like, "Oh, I was looking at the wrong property." That's my favorite line. I mess up somewhere, I'll be like, "Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the wrong. Give me 1 second. I got the wrong. There's another Majesty Lane in Atlanta. I was looking at the Atlanta. I didn't know this is the.
I have Majestic. That's what I.
Oh, okay, yeah. That happens. Happens to everybody. Don't even worry about it. All right. So let's put this one up. Let's see what we got going on. Do we?
So I comped using Zillow, and I got one comp, and it was around 165,000.
Perfect.
For the ARV. And I think it was just it was like in the same subdivision, but just on the next street over.
Okay. Now is this information good here? 3-bedroom, two bath, 1,200 square feet.
Let me see. Okay, to my knowledge, yes, but I know we're gonna go ahead and fact check that.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Now, I know this is Compin Atlanta, but the other part of Compin Atlanta is making sure you guys are able to sell these properties that you're spending your time learning how to comp on. So I know we talked about this because obviously I'm buying. We're doing a lot of buying in Atlanta, Texas, Arizona, Florida, DMV, and Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. But for those of you maybe in one of those markets, or you should have more buyers other than me, because not everybody that buys, no two investors buy the same, right? So one of the things that you guys should be doing is, and we're going to jump into prop stream here because I want to be able to show you guys this. So what you want to do is whenever you have a property like this, now I'm showing you guys this because this is very important in the comping aspect. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people look at properties and they be like, okay, yeah, I got it on the contract. Now I go look for my cash buyer. The truth of the matter is you should be looking for your cash buyers even before you have a deal. But when you have a deal, for sure, you want to make sure you find your cash buyer. So coming to something like this or batch, you can do the same thing in batch. Put the address in. You can go to your filters if you wanted to, if you really want to be fancy. Click on single family homes. Click on 3-bedroom. I would do minimum 1 bath because 1.5 is not that big of a ordeal. You can do price point if you wanted to, but it's not that important. I would do minimum build. I would do 1965, right? And then the last thing I would do, I'll go down to ownership info and I would type in number of properties owned, and I would do at least 5. This is how you are able to find your cash buyers. So what I would do is I would come here, hit close, come out of here. I would erase the actual address just so I can get a bigger search. And when you come out and you look at these, the different individuals that will give you out of your filter, you'll start to see people who are looking for properties like this. How do I know they're looking for properties like this? Or they brought properties just like this. You see what I'm saying? So when you are working with your seller and you guys may be back and forth on a price, or you may not know exactly what price you want to be able to get into, you can easily pull up like this and reach out to your cash buyer and ask your cash buyers, what would you pay for something like this? I'm thinking it's more like this price, but what's your thought process? This is how you move deals quickly. All right. If you're ever going through your Instagram, going through your Facebook, and you're like, damn, how is it that these people keep getting deals? It's because they have the other side of the table already figured out. So they're hunting for the deals that their buyers on the other side of the table want, which is extremely important to be able to know how to do that. Another easy way to do it is just to click cash buyer, right? Or here, let's do this. Come here. We'll click on the location that we want. Hit search. Oh, did I get the location? All right, hit search. And then go to filter if you wanted to. Come here, hit cash buyer. And then you come to ownership. Again, I would do people who have more than 5 properties. All right, so here's 1,400 different individuals. Now, again, if you want, you could drill down. Let's say you don't want to have to search and skip trace 14 individuals. All right, well, look, let's do individuals only, not corporations. Now we're looking at 399. All right, let's do people who have more than 5 properties, but they're all single family. All right, I took down a couple. Let's do people who have 3 bedrooms, 1 bath only. And year built was, what did we say the year built was?
65 or newer.
64. That's the actual property?
Oh, and that property. Okay, I got this one back.
Well, no, I'm saying that the year built of the property, 925, is it 1965? Let's see. Let's just go back to it real quick. Hold on. Home details. 1968. Okay, yeah. So Desmond, you was right. 65 or newer is what we want to go with. So now I got 231 essentially cash buyers who might be interested in this property because they buy in this area. And if I wanted to, you could have put the actual zip code of the area and drilled down even further. All right. So if I ever get stuck on a deal and I'm like, damn, like I ain't got my regular buyers on this, or how do I buy, or whatever, what I would do is, hold on. Okay. What I would do is just come in here, like, look, click any one. All right. This person brought this property, a cash sell. And another thing, so they own 12 properties. Right. So here's something that's, I'm gonna give you guys some like really, this is gonna be some top shelf stuff here. So you could actually look up the properties and see which they purchased recently, and you can see what the price point that they were spending. So let's go back. Let's see if I can put in the filter actually. So let's do ownership info. Okay, years of ownership. Let's do 3 years. Actually, man, let's do 1 year. All right, and then you can come down to evaluation. You can do estimated value. What was your ARV that you got on this?
165.
That was an as-is ARV, or No, I'm sorry, not as is an ARV. That was actually ARV, like all the way fixed up. Uh-oh.
I didn't see the inside.
Of the other one, just use as a comp is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's do 200,000. So now I got a list of cash buyers here that have spent money on a property that their value is probably 200,000 or less. They own multiple homes. They're individuals. They're not people who have like LLCs. So I can come into here. I can look at this person who owns 6 properties and see the estimated values. Perfect. This is their ballpark. So I can reach out to HOA and figure out if here's their address right here, their mailing address. I can figure out if they wanted to buy another property. And here's the other kicker, right? Most investors also know other investors, right? So again, I'm giving you guys different things here so you can look at it and say, I got a property, I looked up the comp, I know the ARV. Or I got a property, the comp is tricky, so what should I do with the ARV? Like, how do I figure it out? Skip the line, go to your cash buyers, and have your cash buyers tell you exactly what they would pay for it based off of their detailed knowledge of the market. Boom, this person got 30. They might be interested in this property, Shay. I don't know. I don't know. Here's what you can do. I'm gonna pull this back up, the filter, and just take a screenshot of this filter. And if you have PropStream or if you have Batch, I believe you can do the same thing in Batch. You could do the search and take your time to go through them. My girl like loves ginger beer, so like every other week or so, she'll buy like these different types of ginger beers, and I'm like more or less the test dummy. But that's pretty good though. I like that one.
What flavor is that?
This is by Fever Tree, and it's just a refreshingly light flavor, but it tastes a little bit. Oh, that's why I said it's lower in calories. I don't need this. I need calories in my life. All right, so let's get back into Zillow. So let's take a look at this. All right, so here's your property here. It's a 3, 1.5. Let's close out of this, and always make sure that when you're doing comps in your properties and you're looking up the different properties, you always check your settings again. I don't know how many times that I got messed up thinking that my settings reset or whatever, and I was trying to comp properties based off of the last property. All right, so let's do year built with this one. 1965. And let's see what else. Hold on 1 second. All right. So let's jump into it. Here's our new search. And if you guys don't know, Clayton County is a really good area to be getting deals. All right. So in this particular scenario, obviously we still have to compare apples to apples. So what I mean by that is if it's a brick house, you compare it to a brick house, right? But our property is in here, and all of this, depending on if it's apples to apples, is our comps. None of this is our comps because it crosses the major highway. But also, if it was down here, it wouldn't be our comp either. So, granted, if you don't have MLS access, you can definitely use Zillow to be able to get you the information that you need. You just have to know how to stay in the parameters. MLS typically will already give you those parameters. It's easier for them to give you those parameters. All right. So let's dive in. So our property is, let's look this up again. And now remind me again, what did you get for your ARV?
I got 165K around there.
Okay. All right. Let's see what you got, girl. You was on last week, right?
No, I was on, I think, the first week.
The first week. Okay.
Yeah,
When we had Rod on there.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Hey, shout out to my guy Rod, Abraham. We got a bunch of more guests that's coming on board too. So it's gonna be really cool. We'll do this every Thursday at 3 p.m. Compin Atlanta. It's gonna be phenomenal. All right, so let's jump into this. So we got 925, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. So let's look here. This is a 3-2. What was the square footage? Square footage on this one was. What's the square footage on this one? Oh, wait, no, 1,200. Okay. And let's look at this. I look at street view because it gives me a clear view of the house. So here's our house right here. And then I also take a look at the neighborhood to make sure that, wow, this house looks exactly like this house. Literally, that's wild. Oh, wait, there's more. Is this no, wow, that's super interesting. They're legit.
Not a whole cul-de-sac, but it's kind of a little small cul-de-sac. But
yeah,
these homes in this neighborhood are very similar. Hasn't been much going on in the way of upgrades. It looks like lately. So
yeah. I thought it was a whole cul-de-sac because then that would have made sense. Because I know sometimes they'll do that at the end of a cul-de-sac, like just make all the houses look the same.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we got 3-2 here. So for 187, 3-2. So for 165. Here's a 3, 1.5 bath down here. That sold for 225. So we're gonna take a look at that in a sec. This is oh, you can sell yours for 15.2 million. You're good to go. When you need to run these comps, you're good to go. Anytime you can.
That one, I thought it was like a group, maybe.
Yeah, this is a portfolio buy.
Right.
That's what that is. 3-3, 3-2. All right. So you see, even though there's a bunch of comps down here, not everything is going to be a good comp for us. Obviously, the year build comes into place, but before you get into the year build, the type of house it is and how it matches is going to be the most important. So let's start with that one that we saw, the 200 grand one. All right. So this one sold back in December. So you just now are in your 6-month mark with this property. Kind of looks the same. So this is part brick and it has some siding. This property here is part brick, has some siding. So this could still be a comp, right? It matches there. Why did it sell for that much? Okay, so no details there. Now, here's something 1974 build. So this might be a little bit out of bounds because ours is a 68 build, but you see how similar, so the style of the house is still technically the same, right? It's like half and half, but there is a difference, right? Like it doesn't look like these houses. So in the 60s, this was like the best thing since sliced bread. And then somebody came along and was like, hey, you know what? We're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to make it all this up top. So appraisers look at that, right? This is what you want to look at when you are doing this type of stuff. So for me, would I take this out as a comp? Not necessarily, but I wouldn't rely on this one all the way, right? If my goal is to find 3 comps, this would be comp number 3, but it wouldn't be my number 1 comp. Does that make sense? But even still, I like this. I like this deal. I think it's a good one. So if you know that you can possibly sell this for around the 200s, because tell me yours again. What was your number?
165K was my ARV.
Was it this property here?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So you use 165. Let's see, what does the outside look like? Oh, yeah, girl. This one looks very, very similar to your subject property. And I want to say that's probably because the same year built or very close to it. There you go, 1968. So this is more of a comp than the other one. Now, I promise you, if there's an agent attached to this, they're using the other one as the comp. Hands down, right? The agent had a conversation with the seller. The seller was like, you know, that house sold up there for 2 something. And the agent probably was like, yeah, but that's not really your comp. But you're not going to argue with the seller, right? They're your customer, they're your client. Now, some agents will. Some agents will be like, listen, that don't work. But for the most part, that's not going to be the same. So this is I would say your ARV is somewhere in the middle, right? But it just depends on the condition. We haven't seen what that 220 something house looks like on the inside yet, right? Now, how would I get some more information on that? Well, it's sold on the MLS, so I would probably research to see who the agent was and ask him, hey, did this sell? Was it already fixed up, or did it sell as is? If it's sold as is, I can make my assumptions, right? Now, this particular property, we see the pictures. It's outdated. So this we know for a fact is sold as is, except it says air conditioning and roof are less than 5 years. Old, floor needs replacing on the upper level. They are modest at best. They ain't put nothing in here about how old this kitchen looked and that they need to rip this kitchen out and start over, right? But again, that's why you have to do your due diligence. So I would say this could be a good comp. I'll probably put it somewhere a little higher, somewhere in the middle.
I did want to add, Eddie, that the subject property is tenant occupied, so it's habitable.
Now, how long? I know I know the story, but for everybody here to be able to catch up, how long had those tenants been in place?
I don't think I asked.
Okay, so that's a good question to always ask, because if they say the tenant's been in place for the last 4 years, then chances are the property probably looks like this one here.
Mm-hmm, okay.
Right? But if the tenants just moved in last year, then I could come in and ask, was there any remodeling done? And then I can totally change, the value of the subject property.
Okay.
Right? So boom, that makes sense there. So now you're gonna go take a look at this property, right?
Yes.
All right. So now,
goal.
So now you have it ironed out, right? You know what your ARV range is, but you can't really make a full decision yet until you can get your eyes on the property or get some pictures of the property. Now, what if you can't? What if the seller's like, no, I just want your offer? Always assume the worst, right? What's the worst? Full gut job. So listen, Mr. Seller, I'm assuming I'm gonna have to come in and put, you know, what's the square footage in this? 12.
So 50% of the 155 is my worst. The worst I could do.
Your worst to who or to them?
I mean, I mean, that's what I would do if if I'm not able to go in and get pictures beforehand.
Yeah. So okay, so let's bring that up. You can always do 50% of whatever asking is. It doesn't matter if you got pictures, didn't get pictures. Like that's just a safe bet. Always 50% is going to be always a safe bet, right? But if you wanted to, let's see, one. If you wanted to see, like, okay, what is my subject property worth? You just look at what's sold. So this property here is sold as is, right? So you take the square footage and you would divide it. I'm sorry, you take the sales price and you just divide it by the square footage. So this property here is a better example because it just sold. If we use this one, it's not, well, this one sold in February, so we can use this one. So here, so take 165. My calculator out. So 165,000 divided by 1201 equals about 137, right? So same thing here. If you take,
Wait a minute, Eddie.
hmm?
How did you divide the square footage and the price? Did you just divide that?
Yeah.
Why did you do that again?
So I'm gonna show you here. Use this one as example here, right? So if you take 1201, I'm right here on this property, this comp. If you take 1201 and you times it by the square footage, no, sorry, 1201 is the square footage, and you times it by $176, it gives you 253. Hold on. Okay, so if you do 176 times 1201, it's going to give you the sales price. Well, it's going to give you 211,376. Did everybody else get that? So essentially, what I just did is I just validated that this price, and this house sold as is. So that means as is price square footage is 176. So if I wanted to, I could take your property, which the square footage was, well, same thing, 1201. So it should be one. Honestly, this should be the same price right here. It should be no higher than this. But you have to put your price in there. Right? So how much are they asking for?
I'm waiting to hear what they want for it.
So I would probably be at 135 to start, if not lower. Do you guys see why I'm at 135?
No.
Okay. So this property here on Kings James
I'm
Drive,
thinking 80, just
you thinking 80 what?
80,000. So I'm way off. We're far apart.
Well, the reason why, so here's why. You're using ARV. I'm not using ARV because this comp isn't a property that's fixed up. This is sold as is.
Okay.
Right? So who brought this property? Maybe a homeowner, but 9 times out of 10, it could possibly be an investor, right? So an investor brought that property as is, $165,000. If your property looks like this property when you go see it, then you know you could probably sell it for $165,000 too. Is that making sense?
You're saying, yes, I understand what you're saying, but you're saying 135 to offer them 135, right?
Yeah, because you got to put in how much you want for your assignment fee too, right? So when you talk to your seller, you always give the agent, you always give them the price minus what you would take out for your assignment, and then also what you would sell it to your investor. So if I know I can possibly sell this at 165, let's say my assignment fee is 15,000, 20,000. All right. So let's say it's 20,000. So technically I'm going to try to sell this. I'm going to try to buy this at 145 from my agent seller. From that side, the A to B side, I'm going to try to buy it at 145 so I can sell it at 165 to my buyer. Right? But I said start at 130 because if you start at 145 and they say no, well, then you got to go up. So now you're taking away from your assignment that you wanted to make, the price that you wanted to make as an assignment. If I start at 130 and they're like, hell no, I'm like, okay, well, what about 135? What about 137.7? All right, what about 140? That's the most I can do. All right, listen, hands down, that's my last offer. I can do 145. You have a better chance of working with the seller and wanting to do business with you there because the seller, in their mind, just beat you. They got you from 130 all the way up to 145. The value is there for them. They didn't get the seller for what they really wanted. Let's say they wanted for 165, but they got it for 145. It's not that bad. You with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. So this is two different ways of doing comps. There is the traditional way of doing comps. Get the best looking properties, get their price number, add them all up, divide it by 3. If you use 3, that's your ARV, after repair value. But your only real comp is this property. And because of the pictures, we can see that this is not a after repaired value home. So that means this property sold as is. This is the as is price. Someone gladly paid $165,000 for this property in this shape. If that's the case, then all I need to do is compare this property to my property to see how they compare. And if they're close or similar, then I know I can probably sell my property for 165 as well. Right? So if that's the case, all I have to do is deduct how much I want for my assignment, and whatever that deduction is, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever assignment fees you normally do, that's going to be my offer to the A to B side. And then I'm going to sell it for that B to C side, which here we're going to assume is going to be 165 because we have this comp. This is what I call as is comp. You kind of heard me earlier when I said, well, what's your as is ARV or whatever? That's what I was saying. I don't want to confuse you guys, but that's what I mean. There's two different ways to get comps. You can do the whole ARV comp where you're dealing with houses that's already fixed up. But if you have houses that you can see has been brought by an investor or brought in as is condition, I call those as is comps. When you do as is comps, you don't have to do the whole calculation. What did the ugliest house on the block sell for? $10. Bet. Mr. Seller, I'll give you $4. No. I'll give you $5. No. I give you $6. Okay, fine. Let's do $6. Mr. Buyer, I will give you this house for $10, just like the other house that sold for $10. They're the exact same. Great. Let's do it. I made $4. Everybody's happy, right? But if I go talk to the seller and say, hey, Mr. Seller, I'll give you $9. And they're like, no. Well, now I got to figure out, do I want 50 cents or 25 cents or whatever in order to be able to make my spread in the deal? That's why you always start with your lowest number. Earlier, you said just do 50%. That's why we do the 50% rule. Like, what's the lowest we can possibly get this for to see if it's going to work? Now, does that make sense? All right. So now you guys learned there's a different way to comp. You can do the ARV comp, pretty houses. You're going to take those, divide it by 3, or if you have 3, you can divide it by 3, and et cetera, et cetera. But if you don't have those comps available, like in this case, we didn't have those comps. We had one comp that may not even be a real comp because the year built it's a little bit past ours, right? So now we're like, okay, well then what else we found? We found this one here, and this is not a ARV comp. This is an as-is comp. So now the math becomes extremely easy. How much lower can we get it from this? And then we go to prop stream or batch and get all our buyers and be like, hey, I got the sexiest piece of property you've ever seen in your life. Gotta sell it, man. Gotta sell it. So is that good? Does that work?
Yes, definitely work.
All right, perfect.
You know that you picked the same one I picked.
There you go. There you go. And look, we didn't have to go to MLS. I don't even think we used the Black Flip app that I was just telling you about. We just was straight on Zillow. It's just about having the understanding. Once you start to get the better understanding of it and you start practicing more, it ends up working out best.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. My guy Rob, what's up, bro?
Hey, how you doing, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, man. Sounds great.
All right. Appreciate you, man. I actually met you about a year or so ago. You probably.
I do remember. We've been at the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Story, but I'm in the real estate almost full time now. But
nice, good, man. Are you coming out next week?
To where?
We doing an event here in Atlanta at the here. Doing better. I'll just post it. You can keep talking. I'll post the link and everything like that.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, just a quick question. Like for buyers, right? If you've got a good enough buyers list, doesn't it save a lot of time? Like they should, like if you're at the property, if they have pictures, they know the area, all that, and they've done a bunch of rehabs. Shouldn't they pretty much know what they're going to pay for, what it's going to cost, and all that without having to do all those comps?
Yes, but how do you develop a good enough buyers list, right? It's by building the relationships, reaching out, talking to your cash buyers. Don't just call them when you have a deal. Give them a call. How's things going? Can I come by the office? Where's your next fix and flip? Let me come through, hang out. Let me learn from you in the field. You'll start to work with people that at that point will be able to tell you exactly what they're looking for. And when you send them a deal, it's like everybody's speaking the same language. So it's no problem.
Okay, cool.
Make sense?
Thank you.
And here's the event right here. If you guys want to attend, you can actually just send me a DM on IG. This Dad Flips. THIS, dad, DAD, flips with an S at the end, the words level up, and it'll automatically send you like what you need to do. for the tickets. This is going to be really good. It's going to be talking about how to find private money and buy Airbnbs, leveraging that private money, how to leverage your network into getting bigger deals, how to build a Airbnb management company, and learning the importance of a transaction coordinator, which is extremely important. It's wild how important it is. So we got Noah Hoffman, King of Airbnbs, coming into town. Love Saza is coming into town, extremely proficient transaction coordinator. We got yours truly, charged up Eddy, deal closer. Abraham, ATL, the GOAT cash buyer. LaShawn Baker's going to be in there, the connector, and Monif Saza, the private money whisperer. So that's going to be jam-packed. It's going to be awesome. Obviously, you're going to pay more at the door. Food and entertainment is included. So entertainment, I'm going to be doing a little dance number. I've been practicing all week. Hope you guys are there and you're able to cheer me on. It's going to be great. All right. My guy Desmond, what up, man?
What's happening, man? So
What's good, man?
Yeah, so when comping, if you only have two comps, you got an as-is comp and you have a fully renovated comp, your subject property is closer to the condition of the fully renovated comp, right? How do you determine?
Good question.
It's really close to the condition of the fully renovated comp. How do you determine what to then offer on that property?
Good question. So if it all depends on what your subject property is more in line with, more compared to, right? So if it's compared more to the ARV comp, then that's the comp that you want to use because it's just easier to do your numbers, right? If not, then you're going to have to figure out like, okay, well, maybe if I added the bathroom, like just make your things easier on yourself, right? But here's the thing. If the as-is comp is not truly the comp, so what do I mean by that? Remember, apples to apples. So if I have two comps, it doesn't matter if this is an as-is comp or if this is an ARV comp. If the comps don't match apples to my subject property, you can't use it, right? So as long as they're apples to apples, then now you want to just pick the best selection. Okay, my property looks more like, or from what the seller told me, it sounds, in the conditions, sounds more like this one, the ARV comp, then I'm going to use the ARV comp. Make sense?
Yeah, I know that part. I mean, I guess I was just thinking, like, how do you determine what to offer when you're considering also going through your process, right? Going through your process with what your cash buyer is expected to make, as well as your wholesale price. I mean, as well as your assignment fee, when the property doesn't really need a lot of renovation.
So how do I essentially asking, how do I figure out what to offer?
Yeah, if your subject property doesn't need a lot of renovation.
So whenever I make an offer, one of the things that you guys have, we're just talking about comping so we can get ARV, right? No, I'm answering your question. I'm just saying what we've been talking about is just comping so we can figure out ARV. But when I make my offer is not solely related on my comps, which is to the point what you're asking, Desmond. It's not solely related on my comps. My comps give me the, I don't know, mathematical, whatever you want to say right here that sounds very, very smart. That's the backing that it gives me, okay? But in real life, I'm going based off of two main things. My seller's situation / motivation, however you want to call it. And we can do a whole different training on the difference between situation and motivation. But situation / motivation and their timeline to sell. Depending on those two things, there are people in this world that will sell you $1 million property for $100,000 if the situation and the timeline matches what they currently need. It happens all day, every day with houses, with jewelry, with everything. I mean, heck, we all live in different places, and everyone here knows at least one pawn shop store that they can go to, that if everything hit the fan, they can pawn their TV over and they can at least get $10. But they know good and well they spent $800 on that TV. But if they needed to, they know where to go, and they will gladly give them $10 for that TV. And you hate the fact that you have to do it, but if your baby needed formula and it costs $9.99, guess who's not watching TV? Right? So it all depends on the situation and the timeline. That's really what is going to decide my offer, right? My comps, that's just what helps me out to be able to have the backing behind what I'm looking to offer. Does that make sense? All right, awesome. My guy Ray, what's up, man? Welcome to Compin Atlanta, bro. You're on mute. Still can't hear you yet, bro. Uh-oh. Ray got some malfunctions, but he did send me some addresses here. I don't know which is which. No, we still can't hear you, Ray. Ray, try to maybe log off and then log back in. I think your sound probably just isn't connected to the Zoom. All right, so while that's happening, we'll wait for him to come back. I did have an address here. Does anybody have an address that was like super, super tricky for them? Like whether they couldn't get the comp or they just couldn't, like it was like no comps, and it was like, well, what do you do now? I want to get something good. Let's see. Okay, here, I actually got one. All right. So this is going to be a deal from my people over at Keegley. Ray, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yep, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's go over your property, because I was about to. Yes, of course, Sherry. Have a good one. I was about to do one of mine, but let's do one of yours. Now you sent me a couple, so we're only going to do the ones that's in Atlanta.
All right, no problem.
My guy Ray's trying to get Compin Texas TV show now. This is Compin Atlanta, my guy. Compin Atlanta. All right, but I'll definitely help you with the Texas ones if you need help after.
Okay.
All right, so you got 3 deals here. Are they deals that you're working on, or what's the story with them?
Yeah, there are deals that they're not actually my personal deals, but I'm working on them with other wholesalers.
All right, cool. And you have it. You guys have it on the contract, or?
No, not yet.
Okay, so we need to figure out what the price is in order to make an offer.
Yeah.
All right. Let's put the address in. Let's see what you're working with. So this is the first one over in the social circle. Yeah. It's for sale. Is it listed or for sale by owner?
It's off market.
Okay. So we got 1940 build, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 13 square feet. Let's open this up here. Let's do. Two bedrooms. And then 1940, so you're built. So we want to make sure we get into that 19. Now, when you're dealing with properties that are older like this, you really want to be a stickler for your year built, because it's going to come into play for sure, right?
Okay.
So boom, and then search again. All right. So this is on Cherokee Road. Let's zoom out real quick. All right. Where's your property at? Now this one looks nice, right? It's 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 896 square feet. This would probably be your best ARV comp right here. We know it's fully renovated. You can tell from the difference in the paint job. And it would be extremely weird if all they did was paint this and then didn't do anything else.
Right.
Right. But you can kind of tell there's a fence here now. There wasn't one here. So this is a property that was recently renovated. Home, look at the home details. It'll tell you durable brick, beautifully renovated, and the agent detail right there. All right, perfect. So this is now this is 1958, which sucks because our comp is 1940. So this is really, really tough to be able to use as a comp. So I wouldn't necessarily say this one, but I would keep it in mind. Why would I keep it in mind? Because I can at least use this to paint the picture for my buyer, right? I can tell them like, hey, listen, this isn't your comp, but look what you can do with it. Now, granted, if this sold for $216 and is fully renovated, this should kind of already tell you a little bit about what you need to know when it comes to your property. So what do I mean by that? Well, your property, what kind of condition is it in?
It needs some renovation.
Okay. So depending on how much renovations, you know, we're nowhere, like this is sold all the way fixed up. This is after repair value fixed up.
Right.
Right. So do you happen to know what they're asking for?
That one.
Now, mind you guys, this isn't a comp, but we can still use it to be able to get a better understanding of like, all right, what should we really be like pushing this out at, right? Like what's the real expectation of what we can buy it at if we know we got to do work on it, and we can probably only sell it for around this price point.
Oh, they're asking $250 on that one.
They're asking how much?
$250. $250, $250.
Did everybody else hear him say 250? I'm trying to see if my mic and you said 250?
Yeah, 250.
Look at this. The Zestimate for this property that's all the way fixed up is 225. And nobody trusts Zestimate because Zestimates be straight up lying. Your seller is asking for more than the Zestimate of a newly renovated property that is in a better condition and higher as far as year. So do we even need to waste more time on comping this one? Right? What should you offer? Yeah, they are on crack for sure. What should you offer? Start with $1, work your way up. I mean, whatever the lowest you feel comfortable offering. So here's when I have a property that I'm like, okay, we need to clear the board because they have the wrong expectation, right? What I typically do is this. I say to myself, what's the lowest that I can possibly offer and feel comfortable about on this property? Right? So, Ray, without us having to go any deeper, just knowing the information that we know now, what's the lowest that you would offer that you would still feel comfortable saying it to the seller?
72,000.
Okay, perfect. Now take that number and take 30,000, go 30,000 less, and then that's the number that you give to the seller.
Give him 42.
Give them 42, and give them a coupon for Chick-fil-A and a thumbs up sticker, whatever else you want to add into it. But when it comes to money, you want to take whatever your number is that you feel comfortable at, and then you want to offer him minimum 30,000 lower than that. So now you're uncomfortable, but they should be uncomfortable too. Right?
That $30,000 is my assignment fee, right?
Oh, I don't know. Depends on your buyer, right? That's going to depend on your buyer. But no, that 30,000. No. That 30,000 is just so that your first offer should always make you feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
Right? And in a scenario like this, like now, if they say to you, like, you know, you're crazy. Like, why would I sell it for 42,000 or whatever like that? Right? Because I think your property needs a whole bunch of work to it. So if I have to come in and put, 90 grand, 100 grand in a property to get it to look where it needs to be, it's only a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. But if I have to put that much into it, I want it to be worth my while. Now, maybe your property doesn't need that much work, but I won't know until you let me come take a look at the property with my contractor. And now when you have a contractor go out there, they can tell you like, oh yeah, that property over on Hickory? I can make this property look like that property for 60 grand. Now you got a lot more detailed information you can make a stronger offer on. But what you don't want to do is be like, oh, I can offer you 190 for your property, Mr. Seller. And you don't have any real basis off of that. It's always better to be low, extremely low, and come higher to a seller than it is to be like, I know I offered you 190, but I just talked to my contractor, and what we really need to be at is 70,000. Hello? Is anybody? Hello? That's exactly what's going to happen to your phone calls. Right? So that's a good one there. Very good comment. I appreciate you bringing that, man.
Okay. Quick question though. I'm just trying to clear in my head. Why would I take $30,000 less from what my first offer would be? What's that 30,000 represent?
Because you said 77. How much did you say? 72,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said 72,000 is the lowest that you would offer that would make you feel comfortable.
Right.
So I thought if I told you to offer 30,000 less, you would feel uncomfortable.
Oh, so you just throw any number out, 30,000. Is that what you're saying?
Whatever makes you feel uncomfortable.
Okay, gotcha.
But it can't make you feel like if I would have said, okay, you offered 72, I want you to offer 5,000 less. That's not gonna be enough. I need you to feel like, all right, Mr. Seller, listen, I'm gonna tell you the number, but listen, all right, let me just tell you the number. 42,000 is what we're offering you for your property. We can close quickly, but that's what we feel that your property is worth in its current state. I know we haven't looked at it yet, but maybe that changes. But 42,000, we can close in about 2 weeks. Where do you want me to send the contract? And chances are the seller's gonna say, you can send the contract up yet. You know what I mean, right? But that again, I rather work from 42,000 than have to work at 72,000 and come higher, especially if I haven't even seen the property or they haven't supplied pictures or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. All right. What else we got? I know you had. We'll do one more. Which one do you want to do? The Oxford one or the East Point one?
Do the East Point one.
All right. Let's get in the East Point. I hope you guys are getting some good value from this. and it's helping you guys. Again, the whole point of this is to be able to help us in our market do a better job comping properties. It's extremely important that we understand how to do it well, and also hold on. Is this the address? 2905?
Yes, Harlan Drive.
All right, for whatever reason, it's not popping up though. So let's do this. All right, so this one's listed
Yes.
or off market.
That one is listed.
All right, so 1100 square feet, 1949 build. All right, so from the gate, this is a full gut.
Okay.
Anybody disagree with that? Look at the pictures. The 1100 square feet, and tell me what you think. I mean, I think we'll be able to keep the floors, but that's about it, right? Look at the kitchen. Do we need to do a new kitchen? We need to do a new bathroom. All right, perfect. So now we know automatically, we know where we're at with how much we need to spend. Now the question is, well, how much is it per square foot in that area, right? Like, how much are they typically going to spend for a renovations over there? Now, granted, we don't know about the roof. The roof actually looks pretty decent in this picture. I'm not sure when this picture was taken, but let's take a look in the area and see what we got going on. So this is still a 2-1. All right, so we need to find our comps because this is way too crazy. Let's go to year built. We had said this was what was the year built on this one?
I don't remember.
What is this address? Is this not the right address? All right, year built 1949. So let's change this to 1940 to, let's say, 1950. And so that's another important key thing that you guys should know, right? Typically, when it comes to year built, you're looking at a 10-year window. Okay, so always put your search parameters in that 10-year window space, and you'll be able to get a good estimate. Now we need to see where this thing is at. So one thing I hate about Zillow is so hard to locate your property. Trying to see if it gives me some comps right here, but it doesn't. Wait. All right, so this is a 2-2. This is for sale, and they sold. Okay, here we go. So here's a 2-1 that sold, 900 square feet. Sold for 227.
Yeah.
So we'll look at that in a second. This is off market. I'm not sure if it's sold or not. I'm assuming it's sold, but it just sold off market, but it sold for 168. Let's just take a look to see if there's any pictures, just in case. This sold for 149. And this doesn't have a price. This is a 5-bedroom, not our comp. 4-bedroom, not our comp. 2-bedroom, 1 bath. There's another 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So you see, guys, Zillow can give you everything you need. You just got to know how to be able to work through it, how to play through it, right? So here you got this one for 185. All right. So this was home details. Let's take a look. Natural light, completely renovated. So something that's completely renovated sold for 227. All right, so let's keep that down. This is the actual comp, year built 1948. That's comp 1, ARV side. Let's take a look at this one. This one says it's off market. When did it sell last? Okay, I don't think this isn't anything. It didn't sell recently enough. It's just off market, so we won't use that. This one sold for 149. Let's go to home details. This home would charge you original floors, deck of the fireplace. Bathroom was just remodeled for new shower tile, running down, small fire library. Okay, so nothing in here about the kitchen, right? Nothing in here about anything else except that the bathroom was just remodeled. Right. And I don't know for sure if that means it was like renovated, remodeled, or if it was just remodeled. Right. If it's just something light. But it sold for 149. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this one. All right, this sold for 232. How much does this one sell for again? 227. Jeez, sorry. All right, so this sold for, this is the off market one. We'll get rid of this one. This sold for 242, 232, I should say. Completely updated, new porch, new finished back deck. All right. This one sold, but so based off of this, right? We're understanding that if it's fully remodeled, we can sell it for 220, at least 225 and up. Fully remodeled.
Okay.
Right? This one is probably a hotel, light rehab, nothing crazy, nothing serious. Probably still needs to be remodeled, but they did the bathroom and it sold for 149. So if I had to, I would say this would be my maybe as is comps, maybe. I don't know yet. I have to find out a little bit more about what exactly was done. or if they just replace the toilet bowl instead of remodeled the bathroom,
Okay.
right? But I know for sure these two are my comps. So 232. Whoops, sorry. So 232 plus 227 divided by 229. So basically 229.5. So 230. That's your ARV. All right. So now you know your ARV is, and you know what your two comps are. Now, what I would do is now you need to know about your property, your subject property. What kind of condition is it in? Does it need a full remodel? Which is what we said, right? We said it needed a full remodel. Yeah, full gut. And they're selling it for $159. I think this might be too high. I think they might have it listed for too high. Let's see. What were they at? Price per square foot. All right, 257. $242. So maybe like $249 per square foot. So
Can you speak out loud on that one again? For you determining
so this one fully renovated, or the estimate per square foot they're saying is $242.
Okay.
Right. The other one was I think $249.
Okay.
257.
242 plus 257.
So yeah, so I was right. So 249 or 249.5 or 250 is your price per square foot.
How did you determine that?
I just took both price per square feet and then I added and then divided.
Oh, divide by 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's 249 per square foot. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I just said 250. So oops, hold on. So do you see how this math works? If you take 249,900 and you divide it by the square footage of the property, you get estimated. You get this estimate per square foot.
Which is the 936 divided by 936.
Yeah. So if you take 240,900 divided by 936, it should give you 257.3 and a whole bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So then the same is true for the opposite. If I was to take what we assume the estimated the estimated price per square foot is 250, and I times that by 996, I get 249,000 is what. Wait, no, sorry. This isn't your property. Your property's here. So let's do that again. So 250 times 1144.
All right, where 250? Where you got that 250?
Remember the ARV that we took? No, sorry, not the ARV. The price per square foot from the other two properties.
Yes.
We said it was 249.9. I just rounded it up to 250.
Okay, cool.
Right? And so now what I did is I took 250 and I multiplied it by the square footage of this property.
Okay.
And that's going to give you 286, which is probably what you could sell this for after it's all fixed up.
Okay.
right? So now the best thing I would do is have a contractor come out to take a look, to be able to tell me like exactly how much we need to put in this, if it's foundation issues, any of that. But you can make a guesstimate, right? Hold on. All right, so in a house that's just standard, I mean, I would probably be at like 115 on my rehabs. Mm, yeah, I would probably be at like 115. But I wouldn't feel comfortable with it until I had my contractor go take a look,
Okay.
right? Or get some better pictures than this. This is cute for MLS, but a contractor can't make no real decisions off of this.
So you're saying you'd make an offer at your initial offer at 115?
No, that's what I think my rehab cost is.
Or your rehab cost would be that?
I think so. But let's say I'm being way over the top. Let's say it's only going to cost me 90,000. If minimum I want to make 20% on this deal,
Mm-hmm.
right? If the property can sell for 286,000, if I want to make 20% of that, oh, the wrong. Okay, hold on, sorry. Oh yeah, if I were to make 20% of that, I'm looking around 57,000. It's basically 60,000. Right? You follow me there?
Yeah.
So 286,000 times 20%. Right?
Okay. That's 57,200.
All right. So let's just round that up and say 60,000. Now remember, we got to put in commission costs, closing costs, holding costs, which is typically going to equal up to about 7%. So actually, it'd probably be like 8%. Because you'll pay like 3.5 on your commissions.
Mm-hmm.
On average, you're probably looking at 1.5 closing costs. And then you're looking at 3.4 holding costs. And mind you, this isn't even, that right there is not even including me buying it off on market. But let's just go with it, right? So if I wanted to get 60,000 in profits, I would have to buy it at probably like 111, 113. That's what me as the investor would need to buy it at.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's the max that I can buy it at in order to make the spread that I want to make. So if you were the wholesaler bringing it to me, what's your like average wholesale fee you like making on your deals?
I would say between 30 and 40.
Okay.
40K.
Wait a second. Hold on. Let's time out. That's way too much. That's way too much. Now let me clear that up. That's way too much on this particular deal. Now there are other spreads that you can be able to hit that with no problem. On this particular deal, it's just too much. Right? I would probably be more in the 12, 15 range, but it's only too much if you can't negotiate it with your seller. Because I just told you, right? Like 130, 113 is where you would need to be at for your buyer. So if you say, all right, well, listen, I want to make 30,000. So go ahead and take 113 and subtract 30,000 from it. 83,000 is where you need to offer the seller.
83,000.
Yeah, because you want to make 30,000.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Okay, got you.
You good? You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So that's how you would figure it out. So it sounds like a good deal. How long has this been listed?
I would say by now about 12 to 15 days.
All right, so that's way too early. So when you guys are looking for deals and you're working with agents, you want to look for deals that's been listed for a long time. If you come now for an offer of, lower than what they're expecting, it's going to be too early for them to consider anything. Make sense? Yeah. But it could possibly be a good deal. And it also depends on how much does the contractor really feel like they need for this, right? I'll tell you this much, it's definitely overpriced because it's been listed for 14, 15 days. It's in a good area and no one has took it down yet. Right? So I would definitely trying to see. There you go. 526, it just got listed. Yeah, so, and this is probably an investor.
Yep.
Yeah, because you see, it was just brought.
Yeah.
They brought it for 101 and I'm trying to sell it for 159. So chances are they're not gonna want to sell it for 83,000. Make sense?
Yeah.
The problem is they overbrought this thing. Look at this. They overbrought it. They shouldn't have paid this one. They should have paid 90 or 80, somewhere in that range. Or maybe even lower based on the condition. And if they wanted to sell it again, they could have sold it at like 110, 120. And it would have been a good deal.
Okay.
See how that works?
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Well, that's all the time we got for today's show. We'll be back next week. If you guys need help in the meantime, definitely reach out. All my details is here. The best way to be able to get in contact with me, share the screen one more time. The best way to be able to get in contact with me, obviously, if you have my contact information, you can just hit me up. But if not, what you want to do is go to this website right here, direct.me/charger. You'll see this come up. You can book some time with me right here. Get on the calendar. The link for Compin Atlanta is always going to be here. And then you have all these details. If you have a deal, you want to JV with me, we can do it right here. If you want me to call your seller and close them, put your information here, we'll do that. And all the other details is right there. All right. Let's see, any last things? Awesome. Rhonda, what up? No problem. Rhonda's a badass, y'all. Give her a shout out. Thanks everybody for chiming in. My guy Desmond is in here. There's a lot of stuff with us on our team as well. And a lot of you guys already know. But again, if you're in town, make sure you come on out Tuesday. It's going to be great. In fact, if you didn't get the link, go to my IG. You'll be able to see it there, and you'll be able to get through. Call us, of course. Shout out to everybody. And again, Compin Atlanta, live and direct. Anywhere near Woodstock? I am not, Ashley, but do you need, unmute yourself real quick. What do you need?
I was just, I live in Woodstock, so I was just seeing who I was around, if anybody wanted to meet for coffee or just kind of meet people. Nice.
Okay, so listen, this is what you can do. Actually, go to Atlanta Joint Venture, the Facebook group, right?
Okay.
Which the link is here somewhere. But if you go to the Facebook group and type that same message in, hey, just got off for the Zoom call, Compin Atlanta, is there anyone here near Woodstock? And even if someone's not paying attention to it right now, they'll still be able to see that in their feed, and they'll be able to hit you up and just be like, hey, look, I'm just trying to connect.
Perfect.
All right, let's do it. No problem. If you guys need any help, let me know. Peace. Stay charged up.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate your help.
No, not a problem, y'all.